Oh yeah, it's Yammer and the Hammer time. That's better.
From the magic of a hidden cathedral carved by the Atlantic to the ancient Moorish stronghold with a bloody history, we're now on day 2 of our trip to Portugal. Welcome to Yammer and the Hammer. Before we get to our first destination, which we almost didn't make, I want to give you a massive tip on driving tours, something I never thought about before. What happens if your one and only key fob fails? Picture this. It was dark, 5 a.m. Our key fob would not open our car door. Yes, we had the mechanical key, but where do you put it in? Every car is a little different, and I've done this in the past, but not on limited sleep and in the dark. We finally got the key to work by smacking it repeatedly, and gently, no anger involved, of course. Now, I eventually pried off the plastic cover in the daylight when I could see this, but even then it didn't want to budge. After that, we just left the keyhole exposed. But did you know you can still start your car even with a dead key fob? All you use is your key fob directly to push the start button. Our car also assumed that when using the mechanical key, you're stealing it. The alarm goes off. So you need to quickly use the key fob to push the button to start the car, thus disabling the alarm. And yet when the key fob failed again, you could not also lock all the doors just by pressing the lock button on the doors. Just the driver door with the mechanical key, leaving all of my camera gear and everything else exposed. Turns out it was a faulty key fob draining the batteries. We went through 3 of them. So here's the big tip. If you're going on a road trip, take an extra key fob if possible, and extra CR2032s with you, which are the most common. You might end up with a dead battery. And try to find this little guy in the middle of nowhere. Good luck. That's my rant. So let's move on. I'm going to give you a yay for it's a must-see, or a nah for it's just okay to skip. We're also going to see how well AI did in planning this for us. The links to the locations will be in the description. On to our first destination, the Benagil Cave Sunrise Tour, one of the most iconic sea caves in the world, which you can only get to by the sea. Strictly protected, you cannot swim, independently boat to it, or land on the beach inside the cave. Kayak tours are limited and controlled with a number of people per guide, and it's going to run you between 30 to 40 euros. So book it in advance. Here's my biggest tip. Once again, book well in advance and book the earliest time slot available, such as the 6:30, as we did. You're going to get something for this. Besides lack of sleep, you'll get calmer oceans, lighter winds, fewer people, and a warm, soft light reflecting and illuminating the beautiful rugged golden cliffs, and a better light inside the cave itself. Nature laid the groundwork over 20 million years ago for this, with the all-powerful and relentless waves of the Atlantic Ocean pounding at the base of the cliffs. The limestone, being soft and porous, hollowed out the cavities and arches over thousands of years, swirling debris, sand, and rocks, and it carved the roundness in the cave walls you see today. The hole was formed from the top down. Acidic rainwater trickled down through and ate the soft rock, weakened the structure, and collapsed under its own weight, creating nature's skylight known as the Eye of God. Since the Algarve coast is plagued by North African pirates, folklore has treasures and contraband hidden in this smuggler's vault. And before tourism came to Benagil, this was a quiet fishing village. The cave was treated as a sacred sanctuary. Boy, time changes everything. Next up, 45 minutes inland from Sagres, from day 1, is Silves, confused early on by English speakers as the Silves Castle. You need about 2 hours to tour, with a small entry fee of about 3 euros and a bit more if you want the museum. Best time to visit is between 9 and 10, when it's cooler and less people. You'll also get nice, natural, warm light on the red-hued castle, or should I say blood red hue. Due to its violent past, this is southern Portugal's best preserved Moorish fortress. Once the capital of the Algarve, it was renowned as a Baghdad of the West. It became the crown jewel as a sprawling metropolis with palaces and mosques. From the 8th century until 1189, when King Sancho of Portugal led an army of crusaders, trapping the Muslims inside the red walls. The massive cistern, in which you can still visit today, provided water for up to 1,200 people during a siege. But this was a different siege. It lasted throughout the hot summer months. The water supply vanished, reducing the residents to drinking sewage and eating mud to survive. Finally surrendering for safe passage and return, the Crusaders broke their vow and massacred thousands of people and plundered the city. 2 years later, a counteroffensive driving out the Christians. About 60 years after that came the Christian reconquest, thus cementing it into the newly formed Kingdom of Portugal as we know today. Destroyed in 1755 by the massive earthquake, it was left in ruins until it was declared a national monument in 1910 and rebuilt in the 1940s. The Moorish rulers were to have said to hidden vast treasures from the Christians. So on a quiet night by the well, you might hear the phantom echoes of barking and whining dogs of the lost sister of dogs. These dogs were lowered into the subterranean chambers in search of treasures, cursed never to return. Lastly, we ended up back where we started, the Benagil Cave, but this time on land from above. This is one of the stops on the Seven Hanging Valleys Trail, which is known as the most spectacular scenic coastal hike in the world. It's this kilometer, one-way, 2 to 3 hour hike. Double that if you want to return. To find a parking spot, it can be very frustrating. We got the very last spot in the afternoon, so go early. Here you can get up close and personal with the eye of God, but roped off for your safety for good reason. Kayakers below, fragile ground above, nothing like a good rock in the head or falling a long way down and making a splash. But people still cross the barrier. Me, I used a 10-foot long pole on the outside of the barrier to give you a look-see. Yay or nay? Benagil Cave tour, a massive yay. Silves Castle, a definite yay for historical significance alone, and a big yay for the Seven Hanging Valleys Trail for the sheer beauty. And AI was bang on everything, including the best kayak company tour to take, with a link in the description. Join us for day 3 of the magical charm of Old Town Lagos and the amazing views of Ponte de Piedad, the staircase down to the Atlantic, which is also part of the famous Fisherman's Trail from our day 1 experience that passed through Cabo de São Vicente. Like, subscribe. Until next time, Scooby-Doo-wah.